Hello there and welcome once again to the Mayor's Magazine. I'm Mick Cornett, the Mayor of Oklahoma City, and this is our program for September 2016. Thank you for joining us. In this first segment, I think you're really going to enjoy meeting two people who are working on the Oklahoma City Dream Center. Chase Parsons, the External Relations Director, and Pastor Deborah Burke are with us on the Mayor's Magazine. Hello and welcome.
Thank you.
Well, I want to get to know more about you all first. Deborah, where did you grow up?
I grew up in northwest Oklahoma City, in the Windsor Hills, Putnam City area of Oklahoma, and have lived a few places in Oklahoma, but always seem to come back here.
All right, and Chase?
Grew up in Fairview, Oklahoma, and then also many weekends, almost all of them here in the city as well. So yeah.
Okay, so if someone says, Chase, what's the Oklahoma City Dream Center? What's the initial elevator speech?
Our mission and vision is to reach, rescue, and restore people that are isolated by many types of different poverty situations, and so usually that starts with just getting to know the person through relationships and getting to know whether they have a dream and what that is, and then we go a little bit further, like whether that's helping them with a basic need like hygiene kits or clothing or food, and then a lot of our programs and the things that we do help people through the kids programs. A lot of the kids in our neighborhoods and our communities that we help are in situations that basically in a lot of foster prevention situations and different, they take part of the programs that we do, whether it's mentoring after school feeding, summer feeding programs, summer sports camps, and then also our wrestling program that we have for inner city youth. And so a lot of that has to do with that. And then also our community resource center helps people, whether that's helping figure out how to interview for jobs or complete their GEDs or even sign an application and go through that and help them just basically instead of constantly, because we don't like to just give handouts, we like to give hand ups and basically go where do you want to go from here? Like we don't want this to be the stopping point. This is just the beginning. We want to get to know you and where do you want to go in your life?
Right.
And so that's what we like to do. We like to help people achieve dreams.
Deborah, how did you get involved?
My husband and I were in youth ministry, and in 2002 we got offered a home missions position at Inner City Assembly of God, and we came there, and at that point it was just a children's ministry, and we did the children's ministry for about a year with tutoring and mentoring, but we realized that we're ministering to these kids, but yet they're going back home and are in the same situations they were, when they came to us. So we started a full church in Father's Day of 2003, and my husband was the pastor, and we had a meal after every Sunday service and started the food pantry in a small clothing closet. In 2006, my husband was diagnosed with a brain tumor and passed away just 7 days after that. And I really felt like, that was my place too, that I had a position there, that God had brought me there. So I went back and got ordained and became the senior pastor. In 2008, we were gifted by David Green of Hobby Lobby with a newer facility. We were outgrowing the facility we were in. And so we moved to the old Grace Assembly of God building on Southwest 55th. With that, then we networked with the Dream Center and kind of joined forces and have been growing ever since. The a burden I have is the preventative. If we can get kids before they hit the streets and they're embraced by, gangs or other things, if we can give them godly mentors and mentors to pour into them, then possibly we can stop the cycle of poverty. We can help them excel at school. We can help them achieve their dreams and go on to college or trade school and start giving back instead of just taking.
And where does your operational funding come from today? Is it?
It's strictly donations.
I see. And do you have outreach or development work? How do you contact people who might be interested in getting
We
involved?
do a lot. It started with a few of the local churches that are really close to us, or that are close to us personally. That we either have friends or people that we've known along the way, and then also over the last few years. It's grown. We've grown from churches, some small businesses come alongside us and partner for different events and everything. And so it's mostly by donations. Now we're reaching out. We're really privileged and honored to receive a Journal Beacon Award this year, and that's actually opened a whole lot of doors that I was actually surprised about, that different like Delta Dental and different people are actually calling or contacting us saying congratulations, and it's kind of opening the door for bigger partnerships. And there's one like one of our big ones that even through our mentoring and our wrestling programs, one of our biggest supporters was and has been South OKC Life Church and some other places with Life Church, that their volunteers have like really supported in a lot of the programs that we've been doing. They've been there through a lot of the years.
And Chase, do you have a success story you could recount to us, just to give us an example of someone that's been helped and you've kind of got on a better track?
I do.
Okay. I knew she had one. I was like,
I have several. I was trying to
Yes.
pick which one. We had a couple that were both very heavily into drugs. DHS was getting ready to come and remove the kids from the home, rightfully so. The kids were part of our mentoring and our wrestling program, and we were able to find a family that would say, you go for a year and get help with Teen Challenge of Oklahoma. The woman went to the Freedom House, and the man went to the facility that's actually on our property, Teen Challenge OKC. And this family said, we'll take your 3 kids in and we'll take care of them for the year that it takes to complete the program. So we were able to network that. The kids went to live with this family. Both parents completed and graduated in December from Teen Challenge at the same night, the same day they graduated. And that family has been restored. I had the privilege a week later to perform the wedding ceremony for them to get married. They are renting a house. He is employed. She volunteers at Inner City and helps at the Dream Center, and it's a success story. God's doing some great things, a lot of healing, and they're able to see a lot of their dreams as a whole family unit come together.
Where are you all located physically, and are most of the people you help generally in that geographic area?
It's basically right off of Southwest 59th and Penn, and our address is 2212 Southwest 55th Street. Some people may know it as the old Grace Assembly. It was for a long time there, but that's where we're based out of. And really that whole area, whether it's the apartment complexes, Country Club, Hillcrest, and even through our Adopt a Block program, like even the neighborhood north of us, and we're even looking to a couple big apartment complexes south of us that there's been some shootings and stuff and everything around there. Like we just really want to infiltrate that with hope and work around there. But that's pretty much the area around there, the 59th and Penn and May area that we get a lot of our people from.
Chase Parsons and Pastor Deborah Burke are with the Oklahoma City Dream Center. Thanks so much for what you're doing, and I know that one example is a wonderful story, but I know there are others and that are being impacted by the positive influence you guys are playing. So thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They would love to have your help, so if you're in a position to help the Oklahoma City Dream Center, please do so. We'll have more on the Mayor's Magazine right after this.
Coach Switzer here to help you put the blitz on mosquito-borne diseases. This is something my family knows a lot about. My son Doug got West Nile virus, and it's not easy to beat. Here's my mosquito defense playbook. Drain standing water, protect your skin with DEET repellent, and wear long clothes when outside. Make sure your window screens are in good shape. Join the team. Report stagnant water to Oklahoma City and City County Health.
That dog has a thirsty look in his eye. Did you know that it's really not that hard to save water? Excuse me, spraying me on the streets like putting me down the drain. In the heat of the day, I disappear before I can help. So, water after bedtime? Hey, we're in a drought, which means I'm kind of a big deal. So save me. Really, save me!
At Embark, we're not just stops on a map.
Between my job and taking classes, this route just works easier for me. Sometimes I even get all my homework finished up. The free Wi-Fi helps too.
Where public transit goes, community grows. Plan your journey at embarkok.com.
Welcome back to the Mayor's Magazine. You can probably see the plants here in front of me, but believe it or not, we're going to be talking to a couple of our employees out at the Oklahoma City Zoo, and they're going to relate the story of why these plants are important to one of the zoo's many, many missions. Closest to me is Rebecca Snyder. She's a PhD, a curator of conservation and science, and then Candace Reynolds is marketing and PR manager at the zoo. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
And Rebecca, give us a little background. You were telling me before we started that you grew up in rural Iowa.
That's right. I grew up on a farm in Iowa, and we raised a lot of corn and soybeans. I spent time walking beans as a kid and pulled a lot of milkweeds out of those soybean fields that had monarch caterpillars on them, and we would take them home and raise them and set the butterflies free, and so we're here to talk about monarchs.
And what inspired you to seek a career in the sciences?
Well, I always loved animals, I'm sure from growing up on a farm, and I was very interested in animal behavior, so that's what I studied for my master's and PhD. And prior to this, I worked at the Atlanta Zoo for many years, and my advisor in graduate school was the director of the zoo, so I worked at that zoo.
All right, and Candace, you have an interesting background as well.
I do. Both my parents are Oklahomans, and my dad was in the Navy, and I actually grew up in Virginia Beach, Virginia, but after he retired, we came on back to Oklahoma. So I really am an Oklahoman now. I've been here for over 20 years, so I'm here. I love it. My kids are Oklahomans, so very proud. And started working at the zoo as a high school intern, and have worked my way through college and worked my way up, and wouldn't be anywhere else.
All right, in fall in Oklahoma, a lot of people know that there's a butterfly migration that takes place, and the zoo's very interested in that. And Rebecca, you've brought some plants here, and that kind of ties in. So take it from there. Why are these plants here, and what do they mean to the butterfly?
Okay, so monarch butterflies are in trouble. The species has declined by over 90% in the last 15 years, and the main reason for that is habitat loss and also widespread use of herbicides. So Oklahoma is really important for monarchs when they migrate north in the spring and when they migrate south to Mexico in the fall. And one of the things that all Oklahomans can do is plant plants for them in their yard. So that's one way that we can address the habitat loss issue. And there's lots of folks doing that, and lots of the city parks are involved, and the zoo has a big butterfly garden, but this is something each individual person can do.
Okay,
so
and what could I do?
Okay, so the most important thing for monarchs is you have to have the plant that the caterpillars like to eat, and this is a butterfly milkweed. So there's several species of milkweed that are native to Oklahoma. This is one of them. It's a perennial, so you plant it once and get it going, and it'll come back every year. The adult monarchs will take nectar from these flowers, but they seek these kind of plants, milkweeds, and that's what they lay their eggs on, and that is the only kind of plant they will lay their eggs on. And then the butterflies feed on the milkweed leaves, form their chrysalis, and hatch from there. And then the other important plants to provide for the adult butterflies are the nectar-producing plants. So they need that nectar in the spring, and they need it in the fall for that migration. And so these are some common species you can find here in Oklahoma. This is black-eyed Susan. It's a perennial, really popular here, a beautiful plant. This is purple coneflower, also a perennial, a nice native plant for Oklahoma. Monarchs love these, and so do other butterflies and all kinds of pollinators. So these are great nectar-producing plants. And then these two in the front are ones that are really easy to find in your local nursery. They're not native, but they're still great plants. They're annuals. So this is a zinnia and pentas, and you can find these in almost any nursery, and the butterflies will be happy to take nectar from those as well.
And the butterfly migration period is from when to when this fall?
Okay, so it varies a little bit, but it'll be towards the end of September, early October. And we are having a festival at the zoo to celebrate that.
Yeah, and how much science has been put into this migration of, I mean, it's not like you can put a tag on their leg or anything and find them later. So how do they track the monarch migration?
There are a lot of scientists that have pretty much dedicated their career to studying monarchs, and you're correct, you cannot tag their leg, but you can tag their wing.
Is that right?
Yes, and follow them. And the zoo has
actually do that.
participated in something called Monarch Watch, which is a program run out of a university in Kansas. And you can order tags from them, and then you catch the monarchs and put them on the wing, and we do that in the fall at the zoo. We'll be doing it this fall. And then the tags are recovered by teams, and then that's part of the way they count the population.
Right. Well, Candace, a little more broadly on the zoo itself, how's 2016 at the zoo?
2016 is just going fabulous. We just ended our fiscal year, and we had a very exciting end to our fiscal year. We reached over $100,000 in conservation dollars, raised through our Roundup for Conservation, which is when any guest comes to the zoo, they can round up their purchase to the next dollar. And those few cents or dollars, whatever they decide to donate, goes straight to our conservation initiatives. So this year was very exciting for us, and that was quite a success for the entire team, and very excited to put those dollars back into global and local initiatives.
New projects coming up for next year that you can talk about?
Well, there's always something new happening at the zoo and going on. Our next big habitat is Asia 2. So we are going to be sharing more about that probably early spring next year. But that'll be the extension of the elephant habitat. So it'll be rhinos and Komodo dragons, orangutans, some bird species and reptiles, plus a beautiful new event center and restaurant. So we're very excited about that.
Well, you must track what are the most popular features of the zoo from the visitor standpoint. What do most people do more than other things?
Well, right now, the most popular has got to be our new wild encounters. We're very excited about this, and it hasn't been, it's still rather new for us, but it's an opportunity to go behind the scenes in some of our animal areas. So right now you can go behind the scenes with grizzly bears. You can feed a grizzly bear. I mean, hello, right there, up close. Grizzly bears, sea lions, Galapagos tortoises, and elephants. So this is an added experience to your zoo visit. They're offered daily, and we're really finding that guests are engaging and connecting with the animals even more through that program. And then, of course, you always have the Children's Zoo is a big favorite. Oklahoma Trails, which is home to our beloved grizzly bears, Will and Wiley, and then the elephant habitat too.
Yeah, and how is attendance this year?
Attendance has been great. We had over 1 million visitors again this fiscal year, so we appreciate everybody that comes out and visits and is always supporting the zoo.
And Rebecca, what projects is your office working on?
Well, with the Roundup money that Candace was talking about, we have a couple of major initiatives that we supported this year. We surveyed the staff to see what they thought was most important in terms of how to spend that money, and they were very interested in conserving not just a species but habitat for multiple species. And we chose Asia for that those projects this year because that is an area of the world where we didn't currently have projects, and it's an area that has a lot of pressure now from the human population. So we're supporting Rainforest Trust. We helped purchase a large area of habitat in central Sumatra. And Sumatran tigers live there, Asian elephants, which are popular animals at the zoo, and Sumatran orangutans. And we're also supporting an Asian elephant project in Myanmar with that money.
All right, and September show, how have hours changed now that kids are back in school?
Hours haven't changed. We're 9 to 5 daily, open every day of the week, every day of the year except for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. So 9 to 5.
So
come
get
see
out
us.
and visit the Oklahoma City Zoo.
That's right. And be sure and come to the Monarch Festival, September 24th.
Sounds good. Rebecca Snyder, Candace Reynolds, thanks for being such great
Thank
examples of the city employees that work out at the Oklahoma City Zoo. We really appreciate your work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have one of the best zoos in the United States, and these two are one of the reasons why. We'll have more on the Mayor's Magazine after this.
Hi guys, I'm Enes Chandler from Oklahoma City Thunder. We're here today in animal shelter. When I was a kid in Turkey, I have a lot of, I had cats, I have a lot of birds and fish, but I never, had a dog before. Now I'm thinking about adopting an animal. Please get involved with OKC Animal Welfare and get involved and adopt and volunteer like I am.
Con-free niet. Con, free, niet. It's the harmonious marriage of free and convenient. And it's the perfect word to describe the mobile app from Oklahoma City Utilities Customer Service Division. Download it free today and manage your OKC utility account on the go. You can check your bill on your smartphone or device and pay your bill on the run, anywhere, anytime. Free app, convenient access. It doesn't get more convenient than that. Download the OKC Utilities app today, the convenient way to manage your Oklahoma City utility account.
Oklahoma's beauty runs deep in the lakes and cities we call home.
That's why ODOT is a proud partner with Keep Oklahoma Beautiful. Join us in our movement to keep Oklahoma's beauty running deep.
Visit us at keepoklahomabeautiful.com.
Welcome back to the Mayor's Magazine. On this segment, we're going to visit with Barrett Tarr, also known as Chief Peace. Welcome to the Mayor's Magazine.
Thank you, sir.
Now, most of my guests don't have another name, I guess. So this is like, is that like your stage name, your professional name? How would you describe it?
Yeah, you could say stage name.
So your driver's license is Barrett Tarr, but if I was going to buy, your music, it would say Chief Peace.
Yes, exactly.
Got it.
Exactly.
All right. So have you always been musically inclined?
It's something that I've always I've always had a rhythm. I could always dance and those things, but I more grew up as like an artist in the sense of drawing and doing that, creating. I just like to create, build, or draw. And then it wasn't until senior year that I realized, I think I want to use my writing skills as well as like this voice that I have to do something more, because there's so much you can do with rap. I think that once people respect your voice and your creativity, you can do so much in this world. And so rap's kind of my avenue of approaching that. But that didn't come till senior year, you know what I mean? Till
Senior year at Southmore? Southmore High School. And so tell us about the art studies at Southmore. What were you able to do there that kind of enlightened you and broadened your scope?
Man, it really was just, I was listening to a lot of Lil Wayne at the time, ironically, even though my music is nothing like his now. It was the fact that he was so passionate about what he did at the time. So I was really engulfed in getting to understand what hip hop is, and that it's more than just rap. It encompasses DJing, graffiti, dancing, rapping. That's all. There's 4 elements of hip hop, and these are things I've always done. I've drawn my whole life. I've danced. My dad's a DJ, and then I was like, oh, I can rap too. And so it was like, it was once I realized that, and then there were so many people at the school that were, Oklahoma's kind of growing into that scene. So everyone was kind of new to it and fresh to it. So the fact that I could even make a full song, people were excited. I wasn't even that good, but it was able to give me that confidence to keep going, because it was so new at the school that, like I said, people were impressed. Just the fact that I sat and wrote 3.5 minutes of words, and most people were just freestyling in the car, you know what I mean? And so it was kind of the motivation I needed to keep going to where it actually was a listenable, entertaining, and informing music.
And there are a lot of people your age involved in the arts in Oklahoma City.
I think
talk about how it's grown.
It's so crazy. You can look at Oklahoma, even just the architecture, everything's going parallel to me. You know what I mean? As the architecture grows, the culture's growing. There's so many people that are understanding now. I think that we're kind of all in the same boat. There's so much talent that is ready for a spotlight, and all we need is that spotlight. And whether it's, Shaq that would have brought it or whatever it may be, there was going to be something, and I think everybody knows that. And so it's a matter of everyone's finally getting on the same page, showing love. Every show you go to, people aren't going to judge you, even if this is your first time or 100th time, because they know we're all just trying to move forward. And I think that's kind of like the mindset. I think that can do so much when people are on the same page. One brain is powerful, but a whole town on the same page towards the same goal, it's going to happen.
You mentioned Shaq, and not everyone in our audience is going to know that Shaquille O'Neal, who's known as Shaq in basketball circles, was here for a Thunder game and somehow got hooked up with you. How did that happen? How did the two of you wind up together on stage?
I found out it was Ray Westbrook, which is Russell Westbrook's younger brother. He goes to a hookah bar that I host at, and I've known Ray. He's known that I do hip hop and art, and he told Shaq that that's a good place to go because there's hip hop and hookah, and that's what Shaq enjoys. And so he came, and it was actually a poetry night though. So I was like, this isn't probably what he came here for. I kind of guessed that he was there to catch the hip hop vibe as well. So I just started performing. Since I was hosting, I took it upon myself to go ahead and just start performing. But he just walked in out of nowhere, and like I said, started performing. It caught his ear.
And how has the relationship grown? How has that one-time meeting turned into a more promising career for you?
Man, like I said, it's just the spotlight. It's that
What's he done? What's happened since then?
The moment I got off stage, so he called me back. He said, "Can you email me that song?" The first thing he said to me was, "Can you email me it?" He put it on his radio station. That's 5 million streams a day. He tweeted it out. TMZ picked it up, you know, and then that gave me the thing to get the ball rolling. And then I had so much of a organic buzz because I've done over 200 shows here in the city. I have such a core organic buzz of love. Like I said earlier, there's so many people that are ready for one spotlight and to push that. And so once that happened, you know, I got an interview at 104.9, then it became the most requested song on 104.9, and then that got me on their birthday bash, and then they wanted another song, and that just comes from, you know, using this one, like I told Shaq, I just want a spotlight and some advice. I don't want a handout. I don't need this gimmick of a Big Brother, Robin Big kind of thing. I just need some advice and a spotlight, and I think he understood that, you know what I mean? I think he knew that I was ready in the sense where, you know, me and him were talking. He's told me, you know, I listened to your lyrics. I know that this is more than rap to you. And he wouldn't have tweeted out if he thought this was my first time on the stage. I think he knew that there was something that was ready for that, you know, and that ready for a 12.1 million tweet, because he has so much of a following that he knows how much power that has, you know what I mean? And just like, I think he knew I would use it wisely, and that's all I'm trying to do is prove to him that, you know what I mean?
And how is your music distributed in today's music market? How does another person, you know, pick up your music? See, when I was your age, you would have gone to a department store and you would have bought a physical vinyl record and you would have taken it home and it would have turned and you would.
That would be nice still.
Yeah, okay.
I would
and you can still do that.
Yeah.
But in fact, you thought that was really neat. If
I would
someone
enjoy
did
it. That would be so much cooler. I would love to have an actual vinyl.
That would be unusual today. How's the digital environment affected the distribution of your music?
Oh, it's everything. Like I said, he just had to tweet the song out. It was a SoundCloud link that he tweeted. He even handed me his phone. He's like, "Hey, just word it how you want."
So literally on Twitter, a person would just go to Twitter and they would be able to hear the song.
And that's how much of a change can be made off of one link and one tweet. You know what I mean? Because the internet, it's so powerful. And I think that there's a demographic for everything, weird stuff, cool stuff, mean stuff. And so I think there's a lot of hippie kids out there, and Shaq was one himself. And so, you know what I mean? That is so crazy how much that can do, though.
But and a person of your talent, though, at some point is going to want to be compensated. And, you know, there's probably not a lot of compensation from Shaq's Twitter.
Yeah.
So how do you get compensated?
That's where we're working now. That's where my past meetings the past week have been, because I have 2 songs in rotation on the radio. You know, I own the rights to the songs, the beats, and now it's a matter of getting my royalties for those, spreading, because I have the Hippie Kid video coming out at the end of the month, and that, you know, that brings up so much opportunity when you're able to put something. YouTube can make movements one after another, and when you have such a strong one, I think it'll just pile and pile, and I'll be selling my merch through, you know, my online store and at my upcoming shows, and I have a lot of big upcoming shows that I think I'll be really able to, like I said, stack the money and start the career and start using the avenues I have to create the career.
So people that enjoy your work will be able to financially contribute, and it will go straight into your account. So you don't have to sign a record deal with some big label somewhere. You can actually, you know, run it yourself as a kind of an entrepreneurial.
Yeah, that's been my goal since day one, definitely.
Yeah. And what about the visual art that that kind of started all this? Are you still involved in any of that?
Oh yeah, I mean, right now I still have art shows every Sunday. You know, until I'm up and traveling, I'm still having my art shows every Sunday.
And what sort of art is the visual art?
It's at this. You know, I'm more of a host now of the art. I used to do a lot of live art. Like, you would see me downtown spray painting the live galaxy art and, you know, doing those things that you see in Mexico, Las Vegas. And that's really how I got my name as an artist around the city, and how I got my income and started to become a full-time artist, and, you know, recognition, because different venues saw that I was doing something consistent in the public eye, and they wanted, you know, that. So now they've given me the opportunity to host and do those. But it really came from spray paint art and drawing, and now I just end up just hosting, because I don't really have as much time for art. Art's really my hobby. My passion's music. Art's really my hobby, and something I know I can use to further this message of peace and love.
He is Barrett Tarr, also known as Chief Peace. He's an artist and rapper here in Oklahoma City. Thanks for coming on the Mayor's Magazine.
Thank you so much.
Good luck to your career.
Thank you. Thank you, man. It's so nice to meet you.
If you have an opportunity to support our local artists, please do so. That's going to do it for this edition of the Mayor's Magazine. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next month with another edition.